Shalom.
Hello, everyone.
Shalom.
Very happy to see you here. Very nice that we have the opportunity to study together and learn Torah in this time. So, Baruch Hashem, we are now starting Parashat Bo, which is the pasuk started, Bo el Paro. Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, come to Pharaoh and go to him and tell him that I want to release Am Israel from the land of Egypt. And by this, Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded to go to the palace of Pharaoh. And the question is, there is many questions that arise from this pasuk. And the first question is, it seems to be that Hashem tell to Moshe Rabbeinu, come to Pharaoh, that he has some special order here. He is supposed to come to Pharaoh, which means the situation of Moshe is lower than Pharaoh. However, we know that Moshe was Ish Elokim, the man of God. And as a man of God, he could create wonders without need to go himself to Pharaoh. But which means that Moshe Rabbeinu was in a different level, that in a spiritual meaning, that he was supposed to come to Pharaoh like one of the people who are under his ruling and tell him about the nation, and then to create the situation that Pharaoh agreed to send the nation of Israel. All the idea of the redemption, the first redemption and the coming redemption, is to make the Jewish person with ability to see divinity, to feel God's presence in the world. And hence, all these miracles were needed. So the nation of Israel, everyone will remember the moment, and it will stay generation after generation, because the real mitzvot and the real commands of the Torah and mitzvot are actually command us not to go by way of miracles, to go by way of logic, as per halacha, and accordingly we know what to do, yes or no, kasher, pasul, allowed. However, and it's only for in a special cases, only then there is a need to do a miracle, to create some new revealance from God. So no, it's not always like that. It's a special cases. And in the wonders of the Geulah, of the redemption, the wonders were needed to be in a specific way so we can carry with that a message that all these miracles will symbolize, and we will be able to learn from it a message that will stay with us so many years, 3,500 years after we left Egypt. We are still remembering what happened there. One of the things that we need to learn in order to understand this deep meaning of the parasha and to take it something for our days is to know what is the real meaning of what symbolized Pharaoh, what symbolized Moshe, what symbolized, what is the symbol meaning? Because the Torah, as we know the secrets of Torah, having every definition in the Torah, if it's Pharaoh, if it's Moses, have a secret meaning, we could call it that way, secret meaning, which is symbolize something in our being and in our relationship between God and the world, and we will try to explain. Moshe Rabbeinu is the man of God. His job is to bring Torah from Mount Sinai. He climbs the mountain. There he learned 40 days the Torah from Hashem himself. Our Midrashim said that he was actually in Eden, and there he was learning Torah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there he was bringing it down to the land of Israel and teach us Torah. This is his job. So Moshe Rabbeinu obviously represent the wisdom of God as it's supposed to be, as it's supposed to be translated to the day-to-day action here in the world. So we're talking about the holy wisdom, which it's a wisdom to do good things. So this is what Moshe Rabbeinu represent. And Pharaoh, let's look on the character of Pharaoh. Pharaoh, he is a king, and not just a king of very big empire. And he is the ruler of the place. And as per the story of the Torah, he is troubled a lot Am Israel, disturbs them to be who they are, and made them a slave. And in the deep meaning of that, we'll have to understand a little bit about the human, how Hashem creates a man. So as we know, everyone, every person have a soul. However, a Jewish person have two souls. Until now, we thought that we have one soul, but apparently we have two souls. One soul is the soul of the animal soul, which means the animalistic soul, which is responsible about our day-to-day, about what we want, what we wish, what we desire, what we need to our well-being. It's the essential soul that every person have in order to live. These souls guide us in our day-to-day life. And the other soul, which the Jew have, it's the soul which called the divine soul, which the Zohar and the Tanya explain that they are part of God above, for real, which means piece of divinity, piece of infinity, if you want also. And this soul laying together in the same body, the same man. and they are contradicted. One of them wants A, and the other one wants the total different thing. One of them, the neshama, the divine soul, wants to learn Torah, to do mitzvot, to do the right thing, and the animalistic soul and the essential soul wants to take care about the food, about take care about our needy life, to take care about ourselves, about our ego. And also it's explained of the Tanya that every soul, from the animal soul, all the bad behavior coming from the animal souls, and the root of the good behaviors with Am Yisrael, with regards to Am Yisrael, coming from the divine soul. Which means ego, it's part of the essential soul. Why? Because what is it to more essential that I will live myself? So the first ego is is to take care about myself. And this is the root of the animal, this is exactly the root of the behavior of the animal soul. And the divine soul actually wants exactly the opposite. The divine soul wants to do exactly to nullify itself, which means the divine soul joined to God. Cleve wants to be a godly creature, to do the right things, to do the Torah, to do the mitzvot, to take care about the other before you take care about yourself. Because it's a godly thing. And this is what the godly soul, the divine soul, which is there with every Jew, wants. So sometimes a Jew can find himself in very big contradictions. In one side, he wants to do the most high idea and morality things which are very noble and very high. And another side, he will desire to have its own benefits, which is in total contradiction. And this is a constant fight between these two souls. In another word, we used to call it the bad inclination and the good inclination. Now, this soul of the animal soul, just a second. Just a second. Someone keep calling me. I will keep it quiet. Sorry for that. So the same animal soul and the divine soul, as we said, that they are contradictions. They are all the time in constant fight. And the human and the man is all the time will be with a continuous debate which route he takes, of the animal soul or of the divine soul. However, there is another piece of information which a person needs to know. The animal soul, it's also the natural soul, which means the person born with it as a default. The divine soul, only in the later stage, the Jewish person receives it. Either when he becomes bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah for a man or lady, and every stage that he grows more in spirituality, she becomes stronger. And as per this, it shows that by definition, God created us under the control of the animal soul, not of the divine soul. It's our work to create a control of the divine soul on the body, on our habits, and then accordingly to change our behavior. It's in our work, but it's not as a default. It's something the person starts to work on it from the day that he's starting his life. And accordingly, we know that this battle is not easy. This battle is not easy because if you understand that the source of the animal soul, it's to take about your self-being, there is nothing stronger than that. So which means in every battle that will be a contradiction between me and my friend, obviously I will choose in me, because it's how I have been born, I have been created. To be able to choose my friend above me, this is something which is not natural. And hence, obviously, the control of the animal soul is much more stronger than the divine soul. However, if Hashem gave us this work, it's obviously it's possible. And moreover that the Torah said, and the Tanya bring it, that Moshe Rabbeinu said to Am Yisrael, it's exceedingly near to you to do this thing, to keep the Torah in your mouth, in your heart, that you shall do it. And the question is, how it's accidentally near? It's accidentally far. It's very difficult. How possible that the Torah said on something which is very difficult, and the time that the Kadosh Baruch Hu create us with a natural and soul as an animalistic soul, which take care about ourselves first, and it's still, the Torah says it's accidentally near, and this is not understood at all. Now, Pharaoh, we come back to what Pharaoh represents. We said Moshe Rabbeinu represents the wisdom of Kedusha, of holiness. Wisdom, which means the wisdom of the Neshama, of the pure Neshama. However, Pharaoh, he is a ruler. And he is a ruler in the land of Egypt, land of boundaries. And he keep Bnei Israel as slaves to him, which means it represents the first animalistic power of that God creates, which is the I that controls the person. And the neshama is actually, it's in a situation of slave to the body. Not the body is slave to the neshama. Like we explained in the previous Torah, in the previous parasha, that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they have been called the chariot. Why have they been called the chariot? Because they succeeded to take their animal soul and to use it as a chariot to the neshama, to the divine soul, to the spiritual God, of part of God that every Jew has, which means they have succeeded to use their animal soul as a servant of the divine soul, and to make sure that the I will be not so strong. More than that, there will be no I. But still, to have a full livelihood, full with ambitious, but not their ambitious, godly ambitious. And this is a different thing, but this is what the level of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And to reach to such level, which a person reach a situation that the neshama control the spirit, the animal soul, this is something which is extremely, extremely hard. And moreover that, if you say that the animalistic soul is so strong, because it's the self, it's what is the core of self-surviving nature that the human have, to survive, to take care about himself. If it's like that strong, what power can win it? And this is Pharaoh. He's a king, he's a ruler in the spiritual being of the person. It's the same animal soul, same, you can call it Sitra Achra, and you can call it the Yetzer Hara. However, Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe, come to Pharaoh. You are right now in a situation which you are, yes, the animal soul is less strong than, the divine soul is less strong than the animal soul. But your ability is to come and tell Pharaoh and create the miracles which Pharaoh will have to release you to be a free person. That Moshe Rabbeinu, but then Moshe Rabbeinu was, the Midrash said that Moshe Rabbeinu was scared to go. And then the Midrash said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed him Idrin Batar Idrin. What it means, Idrin Batar Idrin? Rooms inside rooms inside rooms. What it means? Of course, it's a symbolize something deep that we need to understand. But Idrin Batar Idrin, rooms inside rooms, speak about how Hashem showed him and take him to the highest level. Because if the self-being is, if the self-essential power of being is animalistic soul, it must be that it's able, and there is in the potential of the divine soul some higher level than the essential soul. And what it is? That the being is as simple. Which means, and we try to explain. We see the world created with rules, with boundaries. But we know that above the world, there is someone who is boundaryless, which is God himself. However, we see that God, in a normal days, behave usually as per the rules of the world that he created. He's not changing the nature every time, like we said. Which means there is a different being. There is a being that it's called the nature. The nature being like how God creates the world with the rules that he put to become the set of the world. And there is another being that how God is boundaryless and he can change the rules any moment. This place, it's called that God, not just he's the ruler of the world, he's also the one that exists the world, give existence to the world. And if he gives the existence, whatever he decides will be the existence. And more than that, if only God exists the world, and the world cannot exist without God will exist it, what is exactly our job in the world? Because if God will not give us a place for it to happen, it will not happen. For example, there is a painter that making a paint. What you can see on the paint, it's what the painter was thinking about. If the painter was not thinking about it, it will not be on the paint. And the same thing, there is no way that God himself, that something will be exist in this world unless and until God will have a decision that this need to be exist. So if it's so, all the level of existence is very equal. I am only piece on the paint, and my friend is also piece of the paint. So which means there is no I. No I for real. There is only who creates the paint. Only the exister is really exist. Only the one who gives existence to the source of the existence to the others, he only will have the real existence. None of us really exist, which means we exist on the paint, but we're not having self-existence. And this stands in contradiction, like we said, with the animal soul that understands the things differently, very, very much different. The animal soul, which is called the essential soul, understand it that I exist. What it means I'm not exist? I exist, I'm touching myself, I exist. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I have to go to job, I exist. What it means I'm not exist? It's a two different concept. In one concept, it say you are existing only because God exists in you. And which means he's the only thing that exists. That's why he called Yud K Vav K, which in Hebrew it means the existence. The only existence that exists. And in another side, we, as per our bodily feeling, we feel that we are very much exist. And not much that we are very much exist, we have a self-surviving a wish, and that's why we sometimes suppress under other people, because we feel that we are more important or more, we have to take care about ourselves first. And this is very big contradiction. So there is apparently, what as per this pasuk, there is a higher level than self-existence. There is a higher root in our soul, which is stronger than our self-survival. What is stronger than self-survival? If you really see the world in a godly eye, that only God exists and everyone exists because of God, that you doesn't really see anything that you are more than the other. But then Moshe Rabbeinu said, to be in this state of mind, to think like that, who can? Who can win this kind of nature that talking about me? And if the bad inclination is taking power from that, how can I win it? I will say a story. This is a very interesting story, which some versions in there, but I read it in very old version, and I think it's very strong book. But I will say in about 600 years ago, it was in Tzfat. A Chacham his name was Rabbi Yosef de la Reine. Rabbi Yosef de la Reine. Rabbi Yosef de la Reine was a great scholar, Torah scholar, and he was knowing secrets of Torah, and he was knowing Kabbalah, and he was knowing also halachot. He was one of the greatest Torah scholars of that day. Now, he understood from learning that the book, the Secrets of Torah, that when Mashiach will come is when it will be at the time that the governance of the Satan, the Sitra Achra, will not be there anymore. He will not control our existence, which means a situation which we are free from Yetzer Hara. Free from, we will feel much stronger by nature than Neshama. Hashem will change the balance between the power, and suddenly the Neshama will become much stronger, the divine soul is much stronger, and we will be all of us like Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. This is the destiny. This is what we wish for. And he understood that he thought that maybe through using Kabbalic knowledge, he will be able to win the Yetzer Hara of the entire world and bring the exile faster, bring the redemption faster. It's a terrible story. He and his few students called themselves they came to a synagogue, he and 5 students, and they were decided to ask in heaven if they allowed to do that. So the story says that they were fasting for about 21 days. Every day they went to the mikveh of Kinneret, to the Kinneret Sea, and they went to pray in Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai grave. And after 21 days, Rabbi Shimon revealed to them and tell them, what do you want? And they told him that we want to win the Sitra Achra, to the other side, the evil side of the world, with Kabbalic names, and we're using Kabbalic knowledge. Should we do it? He told them as follows: I am telling you that is not simple at all. Not just is not simple, it's most probably you will not succeed. If you will succeed to cancel the Yetzer Hara, of course, your reward will be very big. But you will not succeed. They heard that, but they continue. They were thinking maybe they will do have a chance. They fast another amount of days and use another Kabbalic, and they called Eliyahu Hanavi, and Eliyahu Hanavi revealed to them. It's all documented in this book. It's very, very, very thrilling story. One of his students that survived it wrote the entire story. And they called Eliyahu Hanavi, and Eliyahu Hanavi revealed to them. And he told them the same words. And then they continue again, they fasting again, and they decided anyhow to do that. And they started to call the angels to tell them how, that they will discover to them how to win the Yetzer Hara. How to win, that he will not have any kind of power anymore. They continue they did it again, and they called another angel. I will not mention the name of the angel that mentioned there, but the book is mentioning everything. And after about a big amount of time that they were fasting, they were told to go to some place. There they will see two dogs which symbolize the Satan and his wife. And they told them to put some names of holy names on these dogs. And the same moment you will be able to capture the bad inclination. And remember, you should not give him any kind of food or smell or anything. Now, these people, while they were fasting, they were using levona zaka, which is a kind of very gentle smell that they used to give them power to continue. Anyhow, of course, all these dogs, it's all parable, it's analogies, it's written in a code way, so people will not understand exactly what they did. However, after they did everything, and they reached, and they found these dogs, and they kept the names on the dogs, and they captured the Sitra Achra. And the Sitra Achra was telling them, begging them for some food, for some water. And they refused, obviously, to give. And after that, Sitra Achra asked them, give me to smell a little bit from what you're smelling. He gave them to smell. The same moment the Sitra Achra got power and released himself. And then this rabbi, instead of continue to be a sage, he was becoming a very great sinner. He left all the way of Judaism, he got crazy. And generation after, the Arizal said that he came back as in reincarnation in a dog and asked for him, from Arizal, how to fix his soul. It is very strange story, very strange story. Very weird also to understand it. So obviously, when we talk about food to Sitra Achra doesn't eat, doesn't drink. So what is it? It symbolizes something. Which means, and if we know that the Sitra Achra is the animal soul that laying within us, which means that by their fasting, they were actually making the body weak. And by this way, they were able to get their soul much more stronger. And then in the parable, it's of course all this element that they fight with the Yetzer Hara, it's something spiritual. It's not something that happens in a physical place, probably like we understand. And then when they reached the situation which he asked them the smell, the Yetzer Hara showed him that you didn't succeed to win me. That you are still enjoying this work that you do, which means it's something that is self desire of yours. It's not something which is selfless desire. And the same moment he understood, the say Rabbi Yosef Kalare, that it's probably impossible. Because you cannot win your self-instinct, your self-survival situation. So, obviously, then Moshe Rabbeinu, we understand when Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded, go to Pharaoh and go tell him that I am God that exists everything, existing you, existing everything, request that make my people be free, we let them live without Yetzer Hara. Moshe Rabbeinu understood this is not possible at all. But then, Kadosh Baruch Hu himself said, I am going with you. This is how the Rashi explained that when Kadosh Baruch Hu tell to Moshe Rabbeinu, come to Pharaoh, he didn't say go to Pharaoh. He said, come with me to Pharaoh. Which means I, the one that exists everything, I will give you the ability to win it. Which means, because in every Jew there is a spark of godliness which is pure and untouched. And it cannot be won by any selfless power. Only any self-power. It's so selfless, it's so pure that it cannot be harmed. God himself laying with every spark of a Jew. How we know that? We know that every Jew, in a case that it's needed, we feel it in many years in the generation, people go and self-sacrifice themselves for much bigger ideas. Like now we think the people of Israel, they're fighting, they're ready to sacrifice themselves, but they're not ready to give up on their ideas, their values, to protect their brothers and sisters. To protect the brothers and sisters in Eretz Israel, every one of them go voluntarily to the army. How it's possible? We never seen such things in any army, that people going voluntarily, not because they're gaining anything, actually they're leaving business, they're leaving families behind. They're leaving everything behind. But they have this selfless. And from this point of selfless and pure place that God is laying within us, actually you can win even the biggest egos and biggest bad inclinations that we bear with you. Not by suppressing it and by using it. You are starting to use the animal soul like the fathers to do what God wants you to do in the world. To use the power, to use the energy. And that is actually when it is what's symbolizing later in when Am Israel came from Egypt, they received a lot of wealth from the Egyptian, which means the animal soul, which the Egyptian in general represent, started to support the nation of Israel in their journey to the wisdom. And this is, we understand that there is also a Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, and with this we will conclude, that Am Israel, that in the time of this redemption, when Am Israel, when Hashem wanted to reveal Am Israel, he was searching in what good deeds, clean good deeds that Am Israel do, he can use in order to reveal to them by these good deeds and bring them the divine knowledge. But obviously now, after so many years in the exile, all of us full with faults, full with a lot of sins, you can call it, bad behaviors which stick to our soul and we are not able to remove them. And hence the Gemara said, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu came, in the end of the day, he came to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob and asked them, your kids have been sinned to me. And Avraham Avinu, the attribute of kindness, said, I don't see any hope. They should be erased for your honor of your name. They will not be able to be a vessel to carry the holy name of yours. And then Yaakov, the attribute of mercy, which always find mercy on everyone. Hashem came to Yaakov and said to him, your kids have been sinned to me. Then he told him, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. They should be erased because they are not being a vessel to carry the holy name of your, the holy behavior of your name, the holy knowledge of your name. And then he went actually to the attribute of Gvura, to Isaac, Yitzchak. And Yitzchak answered him. You said that they are my son and it's not your son. You created them. Yes, you created them with 70 years of life. Until 20 years, you are not judging the person anyhow. He started to do a count with God. And another 50 years left. 25 years, person need to eat, drink, and sleep. Another 25 years, you need to go to do essential work. So what may be left? 12 and a half years, 13 years left. Then he tells him, if you're not able to forgive them, let's do 50% on me. This is how Isaac tell him, Yitzchak, 50% on you. And if you don't want, put everything on me. And remember my ashes that they are on the altar. What he told him. So what he told him, it's something very hard. He said, it's true. You are demanding them to be divine, and they're not able. You create them this way. They need to go to toilet, they need to sleep, they need to eat, they need to work for the food. You created them this way. So what you're expecting that the time between, they will remember you. They are remembering you. He said, what is the proof? He said, either you forgive for that, and I will. Either you forgive that, forgive for that, either not. Remember that I am on the altar, which means it's true that they are not perfect, but in every point of time they have a holy part that they're ready, like I was on the altar. They're ready to give up their soul for you. And we've seen with the generation so many years, Am Yisrael was ready to give themselves for everything when they needed to sacrifice their life, sacrifice their life. Then immediately HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everyone said, Kriyat Avinu, they were very happy that a big way to take Am Yisrael and bring him to the level of divinity there. And this is the message of the parasha. Yes, we do have boundaries. Yes, God created us with boundaries. But we do have this spark of light that is godly and pure and selfless and without any motive of self-survival or self-wishes. It's only a pure, selfless, divine spark which is there within us, and the proof that we are ready to sacrifice our life for higher grade. And we've seen it with the Jewish life. And if it's so, which means we have much stronger power than the animal soul. And we are definitely can win it. And more than that, to become a chariot like Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And Be'ezrat Hashem, in our days, the fact that we are learning this Sikha, which is a great secrets of Torah, which we're trying to bring in a simple words, but it's a great secrets of Torah, which was many years was hidden. But now we can see and learn and understand how to become closer to God and to know that every one of us has the power. Be'ezrat Hashem, all of us will see it in complete way when Mashiach will come in Rabbi Yameinu. Amen. Thank you, everyone. If you have any question, I'm here for another few seconds.
Thank you. Toda Rabba.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.